Poly X30, finally. It's been a long time coming and overdue. Here it is, and I'm going to take you through all the pros and cons. We're going to look at the audio quality, we'll look at the makeup of the unit as well. Don't forget to subscribe and remember to hit the thumbs up button if you like this video and would like to see more. I'm Paul Bloom and you are watching In My Humble Opinion. Right, the Poly X30. It's certainly a very beautifully designed bit of hardware. Robust, strong, it doesn't feel flimsy or like it's going to fall apart in any stretch of the imagination. According to the description of specifications, this little unit's got a whole bunch of features that make it a standout product. It's also, of course, one of those team certified devices, which is why I'm looking at this today. Now, this unit can be used in numerous connectivity methods. I mean, whether you want to use it as a BYOD type device to bring along your microphone, your speakers, your camera, that's totally supported. We have, of course, the ability as well to use the built-in operating system, the Android operating system in here, which runs numerous different versions of client, and on the top of the list, of course, for me is Microsoft Teams, and also as well it runs the Zoom client. So self-contained unit, just bring your own monitor. Now I will point out though that it's probably worthy of note that to get this unit to really behave at its absolute best user experience, which is what it's all about, eh? Single touch join, no mess, no fuss. The best way to do that, of course, is to make sure you have an interaction capability. Now, of course, you can use the USB and plug in a mouse and keyboard, but that's not going to give you the same experience, considering that the Collab OS that's on here is cut back so that there really is just a few simple touch buttons. You can, of course, do that with a touchscreen, which is actually a very slick experience. Alternatively, if you're in a situation where you don't really want people touching the screen and getting smudge marks and all that kind of stuff on there, perhaps you want to go with the touch module that comes along with the X30. You can purchase that as extra, and that allows you to have a control point and just pair that up and off you go. Another area that Poly have excelled in is their acoustic fence. When the X30 originally came out, they were still fairly new, but where we're at today, you know, a year and a half, 2 years down the track, is and as I've experienced on the P15, and by the way, there is a review of that, just have a look at my other videos. The acoustic fence on there has really next level with the whole concept of working from home, being able to isolate and lock out those external noises. Also, perhaps you're not aware, but the X30 also has Bluetooth 5.0 built in, so you can hook up to the device with your mobile phone or tablet or something like that. And it also has Wi-Fi built in, turned off by default. So in my case, I've powered up the unit with power. You're going to get to that in a moment. I've connected HDMI so that I have feedback to my display. And I've connected the network cable so that the unit comes online. And the first thing I'm going to do is connect to the unit via web browser to tell it to switch over to Teams mode. But that's coming in a moment. Also, further to that, we also have USB, as I said before. Now, I just usually connect a little dongle in there, and my wireless sort of standard out of the box vanilla keyboard and mouse connect to that, and that allows me to do the initial setup on the unit, should I need to do so. But in this case, I'm going to be doing it from the web browser initially, just to get the unit set to Teams, and then when it comes back up again, I need to then go to the unit and log into the unit with the credentials it needs to get to Teams. Now, of course, there are other ways to do that as well. Let's spend just a moment to talk about this LED light across. I haven't found any other use for it other than what I can assume that is probably a vanity light. So when the unit's in a meeting, it's green. Once the unit is alive and connected and happy, the light turns green. When it's booting, the light is white and dashes back and forth across the bar, which is a bit of nostalgia for you if you come from the same era I do. Other than that, I haven't seen or come across any description of what the purpose is of that light beyond what I've suggested. So my Poly X30 is busy booting, as you can see on the screen over there. I might just forward through to when it starts interacting with us just to speed things up. There we go. So we're getting into the boot phase now. Connecting to the cloud. Register device. Now, right here, the unit has the option to either scan the code to register into the PolyLens app or to go straight to this PolyLens component. I'm not going to register it, but you could do so, and it'll allow you to keep track of this unit remotely via the app. So if you've registered in other using the same account code, you'll get updates as to whether it's online, offline, that sort of stuff. So a really good idea. All the primary vendors are doing that these days, so it's good to see Poly doing the same. The unit then reboots if that's what you've done, and it'll come back up. Now, when you receive your Poly X30, it's not going to be set up for Teams by default. And so what happens in this case is you get an IP address and the username, and that 6-character password is actually the last 6 characters of the serial number on the bottom of the unit. So you just pick that from there and go to your web browser and log in with those credentials, and then we can start configuring it that way. Let me jump towards that right now. Right, this is my web-based management. Chuck in my username and password as we've just seen. Now that'll get me into the configuration of the unit. Right, and I'm now connected. And I've got all these different options. You've got system status. I can go through all the different aspects there, or from this pane, or I can drill into them on the left-hand side. All our IP addressing usage, all that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff that you'd expect to see there in the portal. Right, so from dashboard, you want to go to general settings, and then you want to click on provider. So you can switch it into Microsoft Teams mode. It supports a bunch of providers. Watch that list. It'll get longer as time goes by. We'll go to Microsoft Teams, save. It'll want to reboot. I'll just flick forward to the other end of the reboot, and we'll carry on from there. And once the unit comes back into service, it presents you with the Teams app. We can just click sign in over there. And you'll see it says this is my company portal. I haven't customized anything. We'll just put in the credentials for my meeting room account, and we'll log into that. Just goes through the usual process of picking up all the configuration and policies and verification, all that kind of stuff. And we're still signing in. We're all done. And there you go, ready to rock and roll. We're in the regular sort of environment scenario where I'm recording, and you'll notice that over here I have the Poly X30 running the latest Android, and over there is my Logi Brio. And what I'm actually doing is I'm doing a screen capture on my PC. So we're taking what we're picking up from the X30 across the wire, and what's being fed and received on my computer end is what I'm recording. So this isn't a Teams recording or anything else. I'm actually doing a screen scrape. I'm pulling the image straight off my screen, but at the same time, I'm also recording the system audio. So I'm not recording microphones or anything like that. It's the system audio. So it's the audio as it's traversed the network and pops up on the other end. This is the way I usually test the audio. Now, well, let's just work on the tracking a little bit. And I'm going to move over here to the old spinning bike, and hopefully the X30 will find, yes, there it is, it's found me. My Brio over there won't know much anyway. I'm just going to move over here to this corner, and as I'm doing so, we'll just see how it behaves. Again, I'm talking in my usual regular voice. We'll give it some time to catch up, to find me, to see where I am, to track my voice. Oh, noisy coverage here behind me. Now I'm sitting at what would be considered I guess if you take this angle and the next angle on the same degree, we're probably looking at 120 degrees, potentially. I have to measure it to be 100%. Sorry about the noise on my cupboard over here, the closet. I'll just come over this way. What I might do is I'll go in the very, very far corner where I've had some of the other recorded units, and we'll see how we go. See if it can find me. Yeah, the field of view isn't that wide, but it doesn't do too badly. As far as tracking me is concerned, we'll give it a moment. Is it going to zoom in a bit? You'll notice now, whilst you're looking at the image on my PC, you'll notice that there's a glow over here. That's something I haven't seen in any of the other units. Right, so that's a feel for how it behaves within the room with default settings, tracking, and I haven't messed with any of the settings at all. This is just default in my little room over here. And as I've said before, my room is probably about 3.3 meters wide and maybe about 4.5-ish that way around. And so it's not a massive room, but certainly, as you can see, acoustic paneling and so on. So I don't actually know what it's going to sound like because I've got the system audio set to on my PC. The audio is turned all the way down, microphone's all the way down, so I don't get any feedback, and we just get the clear audio coming through. So there you have it, the Poly X30 MTR on Android. A good solid unit, as you'd expect from Poly. If you'd like to compare how it's behaved against some of the other units that I've reviewed in the past, please go and have a look for some of the other videos that I've done, or simply subscribe to the playlist. Thank you for watching. I'm Paul Bloom, and this was In My Humble Opinion.